This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.
Okay guys, welcome back in. I'll tell you what, we've got a great show lined up for you. And I'll tell you, I'm going to examine something towards the end and explain it to you thoroughly, because I only put a short video out about the JIMENEZ goal. I want to tell you exactly what I'm thinking about that towards the end. So stick with me. We've got lots to get through. Now, talking CPL, go to theultimatesoccershow.com online, theultimatesoccershow.com online. And you can see the scores, the standings, and the stats as you come in to the top of the home page. Look at the home page as we move through. There's going to be a lot more things happening, and there's going to be people jumping up and joining with us. You're going to see some changes on that site that I cannot put on YouTube. You'll see why in a couple of days when we start to roll our new sponsor on the channel. So get ready for that. You need a sponsor to go anywhere. And I've been telling you now for a long time, Team Canada, the CSA, Soccer Canada, they need real sponsors. I got a real sponsor coming on board. You'll see in a couple of days. And it's all to help this channel grow. Now, if I can do it and get a sponsor of that nature, I'm sure Soccer Canada can too. They got more people working in that promotion department than I have. So what we've got done, like I say, Soccer Canada, I'm sure you can too. And money is what the game is all about. At the international, the club level, and even the grassroots level, it's all about finances. So we're starting to pick up a few sponsors here. You'll see the changes as we go through. But as I said, CPL, go to the front page and have a look at what's coming through. Also, Canadian Championship is coming down, 4 quarterfinals. It's going to be very interesting to see who gets through. Look on here later and I'll tell you who I'm tipping, but there's 4 quarterfinals. You got Vancouver taking on Cavalry. I think that's an interesting game. Vancouver had a lot of misfortune last year. Could it happen again? I mean, that game's coming off at Cavalry, Spruce Meadows. And although I would say Vancouver should win that game, I wouldn't write Cavalry out. I think they've got a great chance too. The second quarterfinal, Pacific FC taking on York United, all CFL game here. I'm thinking Pacific should be the team to go through. They're moving with real class right now. They've got it organised, top of the league, looking like number one, and they are number one at the moment. In this game, I've got to say, York United surprised a few recently. They got through the last game just by the skin of their teeth, but they deserved it. And I think this time around, you got to think Pacific FC, York United. It could go either way, but I'm going for Pacific FC. I think they're good enough to do it. Next one up, Montreal. CF Montreal taking on Forge FC. I haven't been too impressed with Forge FC this year. They're doing okay. They're doing okay, and it's early days. I mean, they could still win the championship, no doubt about it. But I don't think that there's the same team as they were last year. Anywho, CF Montreal is the big team in this game. Forge United will have to prove to be bigger than them in their own stadium, and I don't think that's the case. I think Forge FC will bow out this round in the quarterfinal, leaving CF Montreal to go straight to the semi-finals. Next game up, final game, Halifax Wanderers taking on Toronto FC. This one could be very interesting for Halifax and for Toronto FC. You would expect TFC to win this game, but Halifax is the home team. Yes, they lost heavily recently in the CFL 4-0 on home field, but I think they'll be better prepared and more eager to get into TFC. There's your 4 quarterfinals coming through. What surprises me is not many Canadians know about this league. I've done some research across the country. I've gone into people's stores. I've gone into people's buildings and thrown questions. I've called all over the place, emailed all over the place. No one seems to know too much about the CPL. It's down to promotion. We need more promotion dollars in the CPL, and I think them guys know that. And really, there's not the great excitement for this competition apart from the CFL clubs and the MLS clubs. It needs to be broadcasted further. We need better promotions on the Canadian Championships and make it bigger, bigger, bigger so that we can attract more people to it. That's business. That's what we need to do. Get a big sponsor. That's what I'm saying. Next up, Richie Laryea. Now, Richie Laryea is going to be playing at Wembley with Nottingham Forest here pretty soon. The championship playoff next weekend, or this weekend coming, I should say. And I did tell you that Nottingham Forest, would play Huddersfield Town in the quarterfinals. And I told you that before the playoffs even started. In fact, I told you that before the playoffs was even finalised. I kept saying it in their regular season, this is what I'll see coming. And you know what? This is exactly what's happening now, guys. Nottingham Forest are taking on the Town, Huddersfield Town, at Wembley in a single playoff game, a final. And I think that, for my money, Nottingham Forest will win this in 90 minutes. Huddersfield's capable. But I think if Huddersfield win it, it's going into extra times and possibly penalty kicks. So let's see what happens there. But for now, Richie Laryea stands a great chance at being another Canadian to play at Wembley. Yeah, fantastic news. From TFC, Toronto FC to Nottingham Forest to getting to Wembley. They're one game away from being promoted to the Premiership. I'd love to see them go there, but it would be a very tough season. Just wait for that to happen. So let's get the game done. Nothing against Huddersfield Town, but if Nottingham Forest can win this game, I tell you now, Richie Laryea, wouldn't it be great if he figured in the goal or the lead up to the goal or the lead up to a goal line clearance to keep the team in the game at Wembley Stadium, London, England? Wouldn't it be fantastic to see Richie get into some of that? I know I'm waiting for it to happen. Love Richie, love what he's all about, but I love all the national players. Well, I don't have any favourites, but I will laud those guys that are playing at the top level right now. Richie Laryea going to Wembley next weekend. Nottingham Forest, the playoff final. Get on to DAZN or wherever you can and watch it, because Richie is our big number over there right now in the UK. Women referees at the Qatar 22 World Cup. What are you thinking about that, guys? Are you really impressed with FIFA lining up women referees? I know my thoughts. What are you thinking about women referees? Didn't get enough feedback from you last time round, guys, so I'm asking for feedback. I'm really asking for your feedback now. Get down and shoot your comments, poets. Let's have it. Let's have it. Let's have it. Come on. You know what to do. Let's get it going and tell me your thoughts. Has FIFA got this right? Have they blundered? Is it a terrible mistake? What's the Middle East world thinking about this? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Who knows? But tell you what, I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to hear what you're going to say. Women referees at the 2022 World Cup. I know what FIFA referee Dave Gantar's thinking. I want to know what you're thinking. Talking about the end of the EPL, the Premiership season, I backed it and I banked and I literally picked Manchester City from before day one to win this again. And they did. And it paid out, and I'm happy, because once you put a little wager on, you want to see that wager spin you some money, and it did. Not a billionaire, but you know what? I like to have a little flutter. You'll see that on the ultimatesoccershow.com online. Go there, watch the changes on the channel, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But as for Liverpool and Man City are the champions for 2021-2022. You can hardly split Man City and Liverpool. 1 point on the whole of the season, and Liverpool lost less games. Liverpool only lost 2 games. Man City lost 3. Pep Guardiola crying on the sidelines with joy, and Jurgen Klopp losing with grace. When you lose with grace and class. When you win, you're winning with class. You don't rub it in. But when you lose with class and you lose with grace, as if it's just the right thing that happened and you're just not the team to win the trophy on the day. But hey, take a look at the pictures. Sometimes you have banners that the press make up that never gets used. The first 2, you've seen them before, but these second 2 pictures, you didn't see them because we didn't use them, because it didn't go Liverpool's way. Have a laugh at these 4 pictures, you'll see what I'm saying. But the losers' banners, the losers' ribbons on a trophy, and all such things never get used. How about that? Yeah. And you can see some of it behind me right now. Oh yeah. The JIMENEZ thing. What I was trying to explain about the JIMENEZ thing, right, is when he's standing 10, 12 feet behind the defensive line, and that ball is kicked in from Sarr from the goal line, I want you to understand this. If Sarr had kicked the ball out of his hands, JIMENEZ would have been offside straight away. The linesman was level with the defence, He could see straight across. But if it was a defensive clearance from the goalie out of his hands, a goalkeeping kick out of his hands, Jimenez categorically, by the letter of the law of the game, is offside. Now, because it came from a goal kick, which I really feel needs amending, that law needs amending to be the same as when a keeper kicks it out of his hands. It needs to be amended. Reason why, Jimenez gained an unfair advantage all those 10 feet behind the defence, whereby he could see the ball, see everybody in front of him, and can make a circular run to time his run back onside, per se, to be the first to get to that ball. Now, if it had been a goalkeeper's kick out of his hands, and Jimenez touched it first, the whistle goes, he's offside. He was standing in an offside position too. So I'm going to ask you this, and FIFA need to change the law in my opinion, but where's the difference? He kicks it out of his hand from the penalty box, or he kicks it from the floor out of the penalty box. How does it change whether a guy is offside or not? Where's the advantage? Where's the disadvantage? The advantage lies with the opponent, the forward, who's in behind the defence. A lot of the elder statesmen, a lot of the senior, I would say, fans, connoisseurs of the game, they've been in touch with me and said, Steve, this is so wrong. I mean, people have said, I saw it as soon as it happened. I thought, did they change the offside law? Is there a new law coming that they're bringing in right now for the World Cup? I've had all sorts of people get in touch with me with that kind of angle. But categorically, if you're standing behind, right behind the goalkeeper, no one would let you do it. But if you're standing behind that defence, no one says a word. Hey, as far as I'm concerned, he could have been standing on the goal line or on the edge of the penalty area, and it would mean the same thing. I know you probably don't all disagree, but like I say, the younger generation see it as being fine. No problem with it. Everybody else who's lived decades of soccer has seen the game evolve. Now, on the evolving side, when these super brains at FIFA, like Infantino, to me he's like an infant of the game, but anyway, when Infantino came in, the game of soccer started to change very fast. We've never had this many changes ever. With change comes change. What do I mean by that? Well, let's put it this way. They need to amend the goal kick law, reference offside, to make it the same penalty if you're offside, i.e. if the keeper kicks it out of his hands or from the floor, from the penalty area, and you're behind the defensive line, you should categorically be offside. It would end all conversation. Literally, it would kill it dead. So Jimenez has been cheating on the back line for a long, long time. If you'd have watched Canada-Mexico, the times we played Mexico in CONCACAF qualifying, you'd have seen it then. He's cheating on the back line. He's a forward. That's what they do. But when it's that blatant, 10, 12 feet behind the line, I think FIFA needs to address that to stop it. Because let's ask another question. Let's just say someone scored a goal in the same way at this coming World Cup. Do you think they're going to let it go? And all the TV shows in Europe and in the UK especially, nobody touched this. Do you know why? Because they're scared to. This needs an amendment by FIFA. This needs a law or a rule change to bring the game back into today's standards. You see, the modern age has outgrown the rules that have been there for over 100 years plus. You see, if you got the regulations for the 1800s, they don't really work in the 2000s. Do you understand where I'm going with that? The laws need to be amended. The whole thing needs an update where it's breaking down. And for my money, that goal against Liverpool, a deciding title game, that needed to be ruled out. And I tell you what, it needs amending. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Tell me what you're thinking down below. But I think it needs a change. I really do. And just to close down, a little bit of MLS news. It's all Canadian here all the time. Got to say, Montreal, CF Montreal, sitting in fourth in the East, doing very well. They've literally flown by Toronto, who I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway, CF Montreal 6-2-5, 6 wins, 2 draws, 5 losses on the season. 24 to 23 goal average plus 1, 20 points, sitting in fourth, doing great. They're our number 1 Canadian team right now. Toronto FC sitting 13th in the East. They were really doing well, like 4th and 5th in the East. Now they've just taken 5 losses back to back, and they just drew to stop it becoming 6 losses on the trot. They're in 13th in the East. 3 wins, 3 draws, 7 losses on the season, 18 goals for, 25 against, -7, and they got 12 points. And their last club in any division is 14th place. That's what Vancouver Whitecaps occupy right now in the West. And finally, Vancouver Whitecaps. 3 wins, 2 draws, 7 losses on the season, 13 goals scored, 23 against, -10. Not very good. 11 points on the season. You've got to say, I said weeks ago it's going to be a long season for Vancouver. It hasn't changed. They're still in the basement. They still haven't done anything about it. Yes, they've won games and drew games, but they're still where they are. They need to start climbing the table. So did Toronto. And our big team in Canada right now, CF Montreal. Très bien. Let's keep it there. And let's see you win that division. Or at least challenge for it. Okay, guys, that's all we've got time for this week. But I'll tell you, we've got lots of football coming. And don't forget, World Cup roster's going to be announced here pretty soon. Nations League's on the doorstep as well. Iran game, June 5th. I mean, get ready for that. Curacao after that on the 9th. And then going down to Honduras, San Pedro Sula for the 13th. Yeah, 3 quick games in a week. We'll have loads to talk about. So remember, guys, push this around to your mates. I'm asking you now, please. Promote it to anybody you know and send a link of this in an email to any Canadian fan you know. Come on, it's Canada, this channel. Let's get it going. Let's have it. Okay, guys, see you in the next show. And anything that breaks, I'm going to be bringing it as soon as I can. Cheers, guys.
This is Ultimate Soccer with Soccer Steve.